This is not one more video about how they steal our data. We already know that very well. I'm about to tell you the real reason why you should be very scared of social media. And the thing I'm gonna talk about in the first part of this video is not even the worst part about all of this, so keep watching. Exactly a month and a half ago, when I was sitting down in my dark room scrolling through Instagram, I got a notification that said, if I would continue like that, or maybe even increase the time, this is roughly how it would look. If I would spend 3 hours every single day at the end of the year, it would be 1,168 hours, which equals to 48 days. Here are things you could do in 48 days. Do good research and start planning a business you always wanted to build. Travel a whole region and visit so many destinations. Learn a new skill that could turn into an income source later on. Outline a good story. Do research and write the first draft of your own book, and so much more. I finally decided to delete Instagram for the first time in my life. That's where I spend most of my time. Uploading stories, uploading fancy pics, watching people's stories that aren't even relevant, liking posts to make sure you left your mark, like you've already seen this post before someone else, duh. Replying on stories, replying on replies, judging, getting jealous, scrolling through your own profile a few times a day to make sure it looks good, or at least better than someone else's. And I didn't even expect myself to live Instagramless life for a long time. I just wanted to test myself, how long I would be able to live mindfully without this meaningless addiction. After the first week, I realized I was actually feeling pretty light and happy without being in a spectacular of insignificance. But not gonna lie, time to time I felt an urge to upload a story of a beautiful sky, or birds, or coffee that I got in a beautiful cafe. Only after 2 weeks I felt that I just started enjoying things without thinking about creating some reel or story about how cool and nice my life is or how good I look. I started to appreciate these little things that was going on around me without having an urge to show this to all the people. Like, you need a proof that you actually had fun, and it's like otherwise it doesn't matter. After a month, I realized that I could actually resist the sweet poison that I could not resist before. And not only that, I didn't even see the reason to be back on there. But I tried. I came back, and that's when things started to ruin. But eventually made me realize the main thing that I always avoided thinking about. For some reason, I had a really unpleasant feeling about being back. I felt exactly like, I'm sure at least once in your life you've had this moment when you're in a squad, like a bunch of people that you happen to be around, but you feel that it's not your place. Like, you need to get away from there immediately because the energy is not right, and because of that you feel so uncomfortable, like you need to get out of the place. Yup, that's exactly how I felt when I was back on Instagram. I felt like an outcast who just came back to fit in. To test myself, I scrolled back and forth, and it felt so unnecessary. I saw a few stories, people I've followed, people I had muted before, and by the way, 90% of my followings were muted. It made me realize my feelings before I deleted Instagram. Like, I didn't want to make other people's lives part of my life. Those are the people I really appreciate, but there's potential that we will never ever meet again, and we won't even message to each other time to time. Most of the time, situations ask for you to follow each other, and God forbid one of them doesn't follow back. It is over. I actually have really unpleasant experience about that when I was a student in university, and yes, before I dropped out forever, when I was a normal kid. That is where you have a lot of friends, and you want it or not, like, you have a lot of connections. That was the time when I realized my opinions about the social media stuff, like how people think about it. There's no chance you don't hear such thing throughout your day. Like, did you see her post? Did you see what they storied? Did you see the reel? Like, did you see who she follows? And like that. It's like part of our life. It's a normal thing. So obviously, especially when you're young in university, it's like a norm to follow each other. But the thing is, I realized that the attitude they would have towards me depended on if I followed them or not. That gave me anxiety, to be honest, because I was always the kid who was like bad one, in the squad, because I was not following like many people, and I always got comments about that. Ah, you're the cool kid, right? Because you don't follow people back. But it was not about that for me. It's not about how many people you follow. It's about if you want to spend your time watching their stories and spend your time on them. And I genuinely never wanted to fake my interest in people by following or chatting with them only because I was obligated, you know? That is what got me in worse situations when I didn't even want to. There were a few situations where I literally got yelled for not following back. You know what? You never ever talk to me again. Dramas like that they gave me because I didn't follow them back. And I didn't mind it because, yeah, they're sensitive to this following situation. That is actually when I started thinking about this social media stuff. It's like how dangerous it is. It can change people's attitude towards you. It was sad reality, but that was not the worst part. There was one girl. She was a pretty cool girl, but we were not exactly clicking, so I was not about to fake my interest in her. Why is this crime to not to follow people and to be truthful to myself and not make myself responsible? Watch these people's faces and lives when I don't want. Why is this crime? Till this day, I do not understand that. And this girl, you know, we had normal student relationship, like laughing together if something happens or talking normally. And one day when we got to the party, I realized that she didn't even say hello. And after that, she never said hello to me. What is wrong with her? I didn't even understand why she was hating me for unclear reason. And yeah, I just forgot about that later because that's not my style, honey. I don't keep a resentment in my heart. So that's not me. This is very bad for your health. And yeah, actually, I'm not losing anything if you treat me like that. You lose because you treat yourself bad like that, not me in that moment when you have all these bad energies around you. And you know, we had to go to same parties and same events, and there was possibility that we would see each other somewhere else, and it was very unpleasant for me to think about her still doing the same. It's bad energies around me. I don't want that, sis.
Our mutual friend that I'm still friends with later told me that she was very upset with me.
Yeah, this is obvious. She's definitely upset because normally people don't treat people like that. Guess what? Reason of this resentment and drama was that I didn't follow her back. I got all this drama and bad energy, bad attitude from people only because I didn't follow them. I should play safe and do whatever others want only to keep myself from this drama. Follow-unfollow situation could literally ruin your relationship in somewhere else, wherever you are. Have you ever thought about your workplace if you didn't follow all these people that you don't actually want to look at their faces all day, every day? If you didn't actually follow them on Instagram or on social media, what would happen? Can you imagine? Actually, worst is yet to come. A week ago when I got back on Instagram, as I told you, I felt like this is not my place. I realized in real life it can ruin your relationships. That is why I felt so bad about Instagram after I got back. It evoked feelings that I had before about Instagram, like subconsciously, but I always ignored it because yeah, this is the norm. This is what you do. Follow people, you watch their stories, even if you mute someone, it's already a big insult, you know? After all this realization, I unfollowed every single person I followed, and I just wanted to see, like, if any of them messaged me or they just erased me immediately, or what would happen. I knew that it would be relief for some people who actually wanted to unfollow me. Yeah, they did. Unexpected things happen. Actually, first person who unfollowed me without a question was my own cousin. And even the people who consider themselves very close to you can vanish from your life without saying anything. No questions asked. Even your own mom tomorrow could be like this.
Hey, Mom. You know, I think I lose a lot of time on my phone lately. I gotta do something about it. I think I'll delete my social media soon.
You're not gonna get breakfast anymore. No questions asked. You're immediately stranger when you unfollow. The final answer to that is that there are social norms, the laws that are not written, and we are all obligated to look up to. Otherwise, you will be outsider. The social media became the feeder of people's insecurities, and we're all obligated to babysit and please these insecure people by following them and watching their stories so they don't feel offended. And yeah, feed. It is not called feed for no reason. It feeds you things that you think you need. It feeds your inner devils. It feeds you thrill, joy, excitement, feeling of competition that doesn't even exist. People, where the fuck are we going? Have you genuinely thought about how blindly we do things? Our lives are not our lives.
Yes, never play to the gallery. But you never learn that until much later on, I think. But never work for other people.
Well, he said those words about artists who create music, art, but in my opinion, this sentence can literally apply to all of us. We are all creators. Never play to the gallery. Never do stuff for being approved or being loved or to fit in. Actually, you're doing something greater when you're against it and when you hear your own mind and you're true to yourself.